Mega Millions jackpot surges to $785 million. And if there's a winner, this is the tax bill, which I think is going to be a pretty interesting thing to check out. So, Mega Millions players may be daydreaming about what they do with an extra $785 million, the game's current jackpot amount. One way they should count on using it if they win, sharing a slice with the IRS. After no tickets matched all six numbers drawn Friday night, the jackpot climbed again, marking the fourth time in the game's history that the top prize has gone above $700 million. According to Mega Millions officials, in the previous three instances, those jackpots ended up being worth more than 1 billion when they were won. The jackpot has been rolling higher through twice weekly drawings since mid-October with no winner. If someone nabs it in the next drawing, set for Tuesday night, this $785 million prize would rank as the sixth largest lottery prize ever won and the fourth largest Mega Millions prize. So let's see. Of course, the advertised amount is only what you'd get if you were to choose to take your winnings as an annuity spread over 3 decades, aka 30 years. The lump sum cash option, which most winners choose for this jackpot, is $403.8 million as of midday Tuesday. Regardless of how you decide to receive your windfall, taxes would take a bite out of it. $96.9 million in taxes would be shaved off cash option. Assuming you're like most winners and were to choose the cash option, a mandatory 24% federal tax withholding would reduce the 403.8 million by $96.9 million. That would cut your take to 306.9 million. However, you could expect to owe more to the IRS at the tax time. The top federal income tax rate is 37% and applies to income based above $578,125 for individual tax filers and $693,750 for married couples who file a joint tax return. This means that unless you were able to reduce your taxable income by, say, making large tax deductible charitable contributions, you would owe another 13% or about 52.5 million at tax time. That would bring your winnings down to $254.4 million. There also could be state or local taxes depending on where the ticket was purchased and where you live. Those levies range from 0 to more than 10%. Most Mega Millions players, though, won't have to worry about paying millions of dollars to the IRS or state coffers. The odds of a single ticket matching all six numbers to land the jackpot is about 1 in 302.6 million. And meanwhile, the Powerball jackpot is 291 million with a cash option of 147.9 million for Wednesday's night's drawing. And the chance of hitting the mother lode in that game is slightly better, 1 in 292 million. Now, feel free to give your thoughts as to which option you would take if you were to stumble upon this. And here's the thing, financially speaking, it is smarter to take the lump sum and invest that money so that you could make way more money than the initial amount that you would have won, right? That being said, the majority of lottery winners lose all of their money and then some within like 5 to 7 years after winning. So, if you want to be safer, which here's the thing, In my personal opinion, what I would do in this situation if I were to have won the Mega Millions jackpot, I would personally take the annuity. And the reason for that is that it gives me leeway to where if I just go crazy for a few years and literally just blow all the money for a few years, I'm still secure financially for the rest of my life. If I am able to get out of that weird blowing money zone in that lifetime. And the reality, since this is over for 30 years, you could technically blow your money for 28 years, maybe even 29 years, and still be set for the rest of your life by the end of it, if you were to take the annuity option, right? So think about that. If you were to take the annuity option, you could technically blow all of the money every year for 29 years, and in that 30 year, still be able to retire without really any debt, without really any crazy expenses, and like live a very nice quality of life for the rest of your life. So it's just something to think about. I like the annuity option in this size of a lottery win just because you don't really know how you're going to react to a massive sum of money getting deposited into your account. Like, no matter who you are, you don't know how you're going to act until it happens to you, right? So, I would prefer to be on the safer side. And by the way, if my personality were to stay the same, that very first annuity paycheck would be able to set me up for life for the rest of my life, right? Because one, I don't like to spend money. Two, I'm very fiscally, like financially careful with money. And I already like to invest my money. And I am not, well, I should put it this way. I have zero debt. I am 100% debt free, which, by the way, if you want to learn how to get debt free and how I did that, go down below or go to 40bucks.com. But that's what I would do. In this situation, I would take the safer option because with my personality, in terms of relating to finances, I could already live off of that first year paycheck without worrying about money ever again. And also, even if I were to completely screw up, I would still be okay. That's the way that I would go about it. And the thing that people need to understand too, the majority of people who play the lottery are people who have never been close to managing any decent sized amount of money. Meaning they are basically people who are living paycheck to paycheck or even worse, living off of debt. So when they get like a massive sum of like 400 million or 300 million after taxes and whatnot, they pretty much lose their minds because they have no concept of money management. So you could be very, very careful with something like this. And you got to be really honest with yourself too. If you're already someone who's extremely bad at managing their money, you should never take the lump sum because you can't even trust yourself now. Like, if you can't trust yourself now with the money that you're already making, how can you trust yourself with literally multiple nine figures in your bank account? You can't. You can't trust yourself.